On today's DNVR Nuggets podcast, we're going to be taking a look about what if Peyton Watson is actually the best choice to start at shooting guard. Excited to pull on that thread. Live in 30 seconds. Oh, baby. Monday.
Another week.
It's Nuggets season already again, boys.
Oh,
I thought it might be Broncos season. It's Nuggets season.
Wow.
Never
What
enough.
is up, everybody? Welcome to the DNBA show.
Let's go.
Never enough season for talking Nuggets.
Never enough season. Live from the Toyota Lounge. Driven by your Front Range Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. Do
Yes,
yourself
it
a
is.
favor. Hop in the Toyota chat and talk along with us today as we break down some very interesting topics that I'm excited to get into. The aforementioned Peyton Watson starting. But first, the biggest diehard Bronco fan I know, Harrison Wind.
I was at the bar for the game, and man, that was depressing. Although I will say, shout out to the Broncos fans who were at the bar for the
Man,
game.
they wanted it.
There were a couple absolute diehards down there. One guy in particular.
You know how you will? Sometimes you feel like you're willing your team. This bar was willing their team.
Yeah.
To the like, it would have been worse than 6 points.
The
if it weren't for
incomplete
that
chants
energy.
were steady until the end.
And then a man foolish enough to buy a ticket to said game, D-Line Co.
That's right, guys. I enjoyed the game at the game. Listen, it was a beautiful day. Very, very hot until it rained at the end, which was very, very
God
refreshing.
was crying, actually.
It was very refreshing.
God was crying.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were, listen, why would it be any different? This is who we are.
I mean, it is the thing for all of our foreign fans. Like, soccer is king. Like, even in Serbia, I was surprised to find out that soccer is more popular than
without-
basketball.
yeah.
And even like Red Star soccer, more popular than Red Star basketball. So, for our foreign followers, understand this is exactly what it is. Only for us, it's football, not
Yeah.
soccer.
Yeah, and imagine if, like, the Red Star basketball team had zero pull in the country for, like, 10 years.
Unbelievable.
And it was just all about the soccer.
So
team.
I was talking-
That's how life
Well,
was for us.
I'll explain it to
many
the
years
Serbians.
ago.
The Denver Broncos are your Serbian national football team. They never score.
That's the thing, and man, I was thinking about this again. We're not to be all Broncos corner on here to start, but it is a big story. And the Nuggets lost their fan base in the 90s. We always talk about how there's not like a through line between the past and the present. One of the reasons is the Nuggets from really 1990 all the way up until 2003 when you got Carmelo Anthony, they only had one or two good years in there total, one or two. Obviously, the 94 team is kind of a peak there. But you lost the fan base because of 12 out of 13 years of pretty much incompetence. And I look at the Broncos and I go, I never thought it was possible. But we are now on, what is this, 7 years?
9.
Is it 9? Yeah, you're right. It's 9, 2015. So it's 9 years. And they're boring. They're the most boring team in the NFL for the 7th straight year. They're not good. They're not promising. And I look at that and I go, I don't know. This really could be a thing that we look back on in 10 years and go, I don't know. The Nuggets, we joke about basketball talent, this or that, but I really think there's something about the Broncos losing their foothold to this extent.
I mean, listen, man, people want to be entertained. And Denver is a 4-sport town. It's more than 4 sports. The up the Pids, they're actually making a little noise. Denver has no shortage of sports opportunities for people who are to be fans of. And people in Denver, like, they just don't like losing whatever. Like, they'll just shift their focus to whoever is winning. Generally, that's no one. So it's you sort of have a captive audience. But, I mean, listen, man, like, it is true. Like, I saw a lot of, like, when does basketball season start? When does Jokic get into town? On
At
the timeline,
game, people were asking you that.
yeah, me specifically. Yeah, no, just like on the timeline, man. It's like people are really disillusioned. It's frustrating.
Yeah. Well, when the most exciting thing of your season and part of your season, the new quarterback, sucks, that's tough.
I still think it's too early, but he
Of
has
course
sucked.
it's
He
too
has
early. Of
he
course,
has
yeah,
sucked.
yeah,
He
of
has
course.
sucked. Yeah,
But yeah, that dampers the mood quite a bit.
tough.
There's Jeff having a sense of, I was going to make this. We're getting older. We become the same person now. Like Jeff had exactly
We're
knew
all going to
exactly
become
what,
Jeff eventually.
he knew exactly what angle I would be taking on it.
Yeah.
But it's true, man. I just have never felt the Broncos stock being this low. This was the year that was going to be like, what's the little thing when somebody is having a heart attack, you shock them back into life?
Defibrillator.
This was the defibrillator, right?
This was
year.
going to be their Jokic rookie year?
This was going to be that. You bring it out, you give them an old shock to the system, but guess what? Did not work.
Instead, it's just Moutier. Without
just like set us into cardiac arrest.
So much so that I'm not even kidding when I tell you this. Peyton Watson and Michael Porter Jr. were at the game last night. Did you guys see this? Rocking jerseys.
Yeah.
And I almost felt like they shouldn't. You know what I mean? Like
shouldn't associate themselves.
Yeah, like it almost looks bad on the, you're going down to the Broncos' level. I honest to God had that thought yesterday where I was kind of like, oh, wearing Broncos stuff somehow less cool right now.
Well, at least Michael Porter had the wherewithal to wear a Peyton Manning jersey. His guy.
Yeah.
Been on
That's
the pod.
right.
Been
Friend
on
of the
Curious
show.
Mike. Friend of his show. Yeah. P-Watt not rocking a jersey, but great move not to rock a jersey of anybody currently on the team.
Yeah,
veteran move.
No, listen, man. It's. Can we talk about the Nuggets, please?
That bad, huh?
I mean, this
is in relation to the Nuggets, though. I'm being serious.
I am a dyed-in-the-wool football fan. Like, I'm a football guy first and foremost. Like, I grew up my entire life. Our family watched football. My brother played football. I went to go to the games. Like, that was the thing that brought us. My uncle was like a football star.
You went to games as a kid?
Not Bronco games, but like
Rams,
football game, Rams and Rocky Mountain. Anyway, but it was just like part of the fabric of our family, very loose, stretchy, not very binding fabric of our family, and it's just something that like I just identify with. Like I'm a football guy, and like now I'm like I don't think I like football. Like it sucks. Like I hate it.
It takes too long. Games are too long.
It's a great sport. It just like makes me sad all the time.
So you were talking about fabric. I just got a new comforter and new sheets. You guys, there's nothing better. You guys know when you get
Speaking of fabric.
Well, he was talking about stretchy fabric. I got bamboo. It's unbelievable.
Bamboo is top tier.
Have you guys done this before?
I don't have bamboo, but I've heard things.
It's so good.
Speaking of new things, I got a new couch.
Really?
Yeah.
From where?
Week. Amazon. The wife found it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's great though. It's huge, way bigger than our old one. We can spread out on it and not touch each other. It's great.
That's the true key there. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Lots of separation. Anything new in your life?
No, just like this growing sense of doom and demise that I have for football.
Yeah. Real quickly to round out our first shows, we're just kind of talking here. CBS put out a ranking of the top coaches. Did you guys see this?
No.
Top coaches in the NBA.
I got to think. Let's see. There's 32 teams. I'm going to put Michael Malone at 16, right in the middle.
Wow, it's a good guess. It's a good, healthy guess, but it is wrong. Number one, Eric Spoelstra, who also put these in tiers, not just a list, but tiers. The undisputed king, Eric Spoelstra. This is Sam Quinn's list, by the way. Tier 2, the elites. Nick Nurse, Rick Carlisle, Steve Kerr, and Ty Lue.
Nick Nurse.
All of these guys to me are like very interesting to be thinking of.
Nick Nurse is the second one mentioned?
So Nick Nurse is an innovator, but also somebody that the Raptors players no longer liked after
they
immediately
fired him, and he didn't get a lot of success last year.
He does wear his hat backwards sometimes. Though he plays guitar.
Yeah.
He's played with Eddie Vedder, right? Like they've had a little jam session together. I think that they.
Well, listen, this is all new information to me. This justifies. I feel good about his spot now. I didn't know he had Eddie Vedder ties.
I mean, he won a championship with a Raptors team that's probably one of the worst champions of the last decade.
But Kawhi Leonard was like
really good.
Absolutely.
Incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, that does a lot of work here.
So Eric Spoelstra championships, Nurse, Carlisle, Kerr, and Lue all championships. Let's go to tier 3 here.
Like nobody. I don't understand Tyronn Lue's perception of as a top tier coach.
If you think about it, they have had less success than the Denver Nuggets, the Clippers have. And then obviously with the
they're
Cavs,
a complete flame out.
When he won a championship, he was ushered into that when they fired David Blatt.
Yes, and it was just he and LeBron. He just allowed LeBron to be the coach. Why is Tyronn Lue get this level of love?
I feel like Ty Lue hasn't coached for the last 5 years.
I don't think he's ever coached.
You know, like how much coaching can you really do on that team?
Well, then we get to tier 3, the Wonderkins. Mark Dagnott and Will Hardy. I found this to be very interesting, and I think this now gets to the point where I'm like, oh, this list is more about the list maker than anything. Not that it's right or wrong, but
It's
more
wrong.
that it's very clearly a specific type of coaching. Like, coaching is a lot of different roles. There's a very specific avenue of this that is being most elevated, and Will Hardy might very well be a great coach. I have no idea. I think he probably is.
Who he coached for?
The Utah Jazz. But it's like, and he's been there for now 2 seasons.
I should have included that.
Yeah,
included him in that game. Yeah.
The Hardy Boys.
But it's also like Mark Daigneault, at least you can give it to him. They were the 1
Yeah.
seed last year, young team. Like, he's proven at least to some degree, although do we know he's a great playoff tactician? Not yet, we don't know. They haven't been through the fires. But Will Hardy, it's like, come on, man. How are we evaluating this guy as a good coach?
because you can package it up by saying the Wonder Kids.
He's good looking. Good
That's
hair.
it. Because he's impressed with Mark Daigneault. We all were last night. Because he was
Daigneault's really good.
He was. I don't mean that like in a pointed way. Like, we were all impressed with him because he was very tactical. He made a lot of very deft decisions throughout a game. You're like, oh man, that's pretty crazy. That guy's doing something. But so he's like the young guy, and they're like, oh, who's the other young guy? And they just put him in there.
Will Hardy's living off this reputation he had like 2 years ago, I feel like.
Yeah.
But his stock doesn't feel as high as it did then.
This is like when we were doing
When he had Walker Kessler, and you're like, oh my God, like, what do they got cooking?
But this is like when we were doing the Olympic team of 2020, what would it be, 8? And it was like, well, Cooper Flagg will be there. And it's like, well, we don't know that. Like,
Yeah.
he seems like a promising guy, but we... he's a lock. He's a lock. Will Hardy, that's how I feel. All right, tier 4, obvious floor raisers. Obvious.
Okay.
Obviously raising the floor here, D-line. Ime Udoka.
Okay.
Mike Budenholzer. Tom Thibodeau, who, by the way, is behind Will Hardy now. It's very interesting. Joe Mazzulla just won a title, won 62 games behind Will Hardy. Chris Finch
Oh, yeah.
and Mike Brown.
Damn.
So we are now at number 13.
Yo, that's rough.
Not in the
Mike
Mike
Brown
tier.
cannot be higher than Michael Malone.
I think Mike Brown's a great coach.
What
I
did-
think
did-
Mike
what did
Brown's a
He
Michael
great
Malone
cannot
do?
be higher than Michael Malone.
What did
though.
Michael Malone do? Like, why does he have this like insanely low perception?
Tier 5. The living legend, Greg Popovich, number 14. That's it. It was a one-person tier. So your Wonder Kids
Jeez.
theory, maybe not true. He was able to put one person in a tier. And then tier 6, also known as the middle of the road, and we have Michael Malone, Quinn Snyder, Taylor Jenkins, Jason Kidd.
Oh my God.
That's disrespectful.
It's extremely disrespectful.
Disrespectful.
Not a floor raiser, middle of the road, below the Wonder Kids,
Middle of the road.
Middle of the road.
below Ime Udoka, who destroyed his team.
I feel like Michael Malone has to be in the floor raiser category.
That I'm saying, like,
That's I think what he can be.
he's raised the floor literally by win total every single year, which is the floor of a team. Like, right?
I will say this. It's weird that Malone doesn't get more, and this is just a guy's opinion. You know, there's nothing here. But like when they do the GM survey,
It's indicative.
there tells me something that Malone, like every coach somehow votes for everybody else. There's like 20 people nominated for Coach of the Year in that GM
Right.
survey, and somehow Mike Malone's list, his name is never even listed. He's
Never.
not even an honorable
He's not
mention.
in the group text somehow.
He's somehow, but we know he's popular around the league and this or that. So I don't know what to make of it. It is very strange to me. And again, this is just one guy's list, but it's interesting to me to note that Michael Malone, the perception from just a random outsider is that Michael Malone is a perfectly average coach.
So I believe this is the rainforest theory.
Okay.
I'm just coming up with right now. Is that
Great name, by the way. Don't even know what the theory
This
is,
sounds
but great
so
name.
good.
Nikola Jokic is
Yeah.
such that he is the canopy
Yeah.
that absorbs all of the praise,
Yeah.
all of the attention, all of the water,
Yeah.
all of everything,
Yeah, it's
and
the
then the
umbrella
trickle down
theory.
effect of like the shrubbery below Michael Malone is never seen, acknowledged, or even recognized. It's insane. It really is insane that Michael Malone gets this. Because I was on this last year. Like, why is Michael Malone not being discussed for Coach of the Year when they by all rights should have been the number one seed last year, if not for that ridiculous San Antonio performance. Not even in the top, not even mentioned. I literally don't know what it takes. It's obviously like levels of politicking that take place with the coaches talking to each other. They have a little club, this, that, or the other. That filters out to people like us, like the people that talk to the coaches, whatever. Like, but it is insane. It's categorically insane, and it like shows you who the Nuggets still are in the eyes of the casual onlooker, with the exception of the canopy, Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, Jokic does get the lion's share of the credit, and I think he should. First and foremost, Nikola Jokic absolutely should. He is the reason the Nuggets are who they are. He's also smarter than every other player and every other coach, and his coach probably. But the other constant throughout the Jokic era has been Michael Malone. I mean,
Of course.
so I think putting him that low is a little disrespectful. Haven't the Nuggets won more games than any other team, definitely in the Western Conference, over the last 5 years or so?
I believe so.
I think they have one of those.
That's what Kale's saying, so double check that. But
I would trust Kale on that. Don't the Nuggets have the longest playoff current streak, or maybe the second longest in the NBA?
probably.
Right now?
I mean, you have they are
have to give Michael Malone a bunch of credit for that, right?
No, apparently not.
The Nuggets have a great team. All great coaches have great teams,
It's true.
except Mike Brown, apparently.
Well, Will Hardy, truly. I mean,
Will Hardy.
Hardy's just proven it. It's a very interesting list, but it just goes to show that I see a bunch of these things, and it is at least something interesting. Why would that be?
We could talk about JJ Redick ranking 30th. That's on there just for the clicks.
It is on there for the clicks. Let's take a break. On the other side, let's get to our headline topic about Peyton Watson. And are we...
UC Health, ready, set, go. Very excited to partner up with our friends over at UC Health. Coach Prime of the 2-1 Colorado Buffaloes. Don't know if you guys saw that game over the weekend.
I saw it. I have some thoughts, but I'll share them to myself.
He wants to help you and other
thoughts, but they're dark and
Coloradans
angry.
be your healthiest selves as the Chief Motivation Officer of UC Health's Ready, Set, Code Challenge. The goal of the challenge is to get Colorado back to its rightful place as the healthiest state. What
you guys hear
happened here?
this? I'm telling you, man, it pisses me off. We let in all these Californians, and now we're no longer the fittest state.
I think we let in Texans.
Where do we
Might have
rank?
let in a few Texans.
I need
as
an
well.
up-to-date ranking on every state's.
We got weighed
fitness level
down. We
and
got
healthiest level
literally
and healthy
weighed
level.
down. We were the fittest state for my entire life.
Here are some key
Bummer
core
about this.
tenets
You know what
of
it is?
the
You know what I'll bet you?
Ready, Set, Go challenge.
It
What?
could be we let a certain fast food joint into town, and all of a sudden, I'm just saying.
All roads
I'm
lead
just
back to
saying.
In-N-Out for Adam. Every single one.
Agenda corner over here.
I know, dude.
All right, but UC Health.
8 hours of sleep, that's the magic number. Make a good night's sleep a priority. Try putting your phone down when you go to bed. These are all things I don't do, so I got a lot of work
I'm
to
starting
do.
to realize why we've slipped. I've
Try guided sleep apps. Plan your bedtime based on your wake-up time.
They have get new sheets in there.
I could add it to the list.
Yeah, shroud yourself in bamboo.
Oh, it's so good.
If you want to join UC Health's Ready, Set, Co challenge, click the link in the show notes or go to uchealth.org/readysetco.
Guys, also want to tell you guys about Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. Toyota's trucks have always been a part of Toyota's DNA. For generations, Toyota has built durable legends destined for greatness, perfect for Colorado. I had lunch in Lyons the other day with the family, and it was sitting right there watching. It was all Toyotas, man. I'm telling you. The Tacoma was making it there. The 4Runner, the RAV4.
I like how these are the things we notice now
Anecdotal
in our daily
corner,
lives.
dude. Anecdotal
But can I
corner.
tell you something? I kept like all the different color, everything. I was just like, man, this is a pretty. Toyotas are gorgeous cars. This is my corner here. Also, check out. Just everybody Google real quick the 2024 Land Cruiser.
Hold on.
Google it.
Whoa!
I'm telling you, it's
Is
a
that real?
gorgeous car. It's an absolutely
It's
gorgeous car. They also offer currently more low and zero emission vehicles combined than any other automaker to give customers numerous choices to reduce their carbon footprint. There are 16 different hybrid vehicles to choose from the Tundra iForce Max hybrid truck and many others. Right now, visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, that's mine, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. The official vehicle of Denver Nuggets and the official vehicle of DNVR.
Hell yeah, dude.
All right, back here. Let's get to our title.
Do you think any Denver Nuggets own a Toyota?
Sadly, probably not. Who would be the most likely Denver Nugget to own a Toyota?
Colin Gillespie. Oh wait, no, he doesn't. He's not here anymore.
Peyton Watson starting. So Michael Malone has talked about, it's going to be an open battle. We all think that Christian Braun has the inside track. Maybe Westbrook is competing for that. Maybe Julian Strawther. The only reason I never really put my mind towards Peyton Watson being that spot is I just don't think he's a shooting guard. Like, physically, I think of him more of as a wing player. But the truth is, if you just think functionally what is being brought to the table, I think that one of the things that could be best for Denver is if Peyton Watson makes the most growth from now till the playoffs. And he'd make the most growth playing by Jokic. And there's a chance that at least defensively, isn't he a better defender than Christian Braun?
He's a different type of defender.
Yep. Rim defense.
Is he a better defender? Probably. If you just stack those two guys up side by side, definitely more upside. Definitely more of like the game-changing defender.
Yeah.
He can like totally change the feel and the momentum of a game.
I think that's right. He's a defensive playmaker.
But is he a better defender at that spot in the lineup at shooting guard? Probably not, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you can name anybody on your team a shooting guard until you see them get buckets in that stupid gym in New York. If I don't see him make one 3-pointer in that gym, like what good is he? Aaron Gordon's been in there.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook's been in there.
Yeah.
But I mean, truly, I think that's the difference, right? Is that Christian Braun is a solid positional, kind of a stout, stay in front of you defender, and Peyton Watson feels like a steals, blocks, make a play, eye-popping kind of defender. But I don't view him as fundamentally sound as I do Christian Braun.
I'd agree.
So, but what about this? Think about it this way. If you were to invest 1,000 minutes this year to one 5-man lineup, the one with Christian Braun in that spot versus the one in Peyton Watson, wouldn't you think that the higher upside might actually be Peyton Watson? I mean, first of all, defensively, it is possible that he can do all the things that Christian does. I agree that they're different types of defenders, but is it possible that 1,000 minutes into this, actually his length and athleticism next to Aaron Gordon's length and athleticism, next to Michael Porter's length, just in aggregate, all of a sudden outweighs whatever, but positionally it's a little out of it. Is it possible that 1,000 minutes of that lineup, you get to the playoffs and you're like, that's the best 5-man lineup, no questions asked, in a way that you wouldn't necessarily maybe with Christian Braun?
Yeah, and I think that's how you could talk yourself into it. We all agree that Peyton Watson probably has more star level upside. Definitely has more.
I think it's
of
no
that.
question of that piece of it's no question. It's
Than
just,
Christian Braun. And there's a line of thinking with people that you talk to in the league that if you're going to become a star, you probably need to be starting like in the starting lineup by year 3. And that's what Peyton Watson is going into. So if you're under that impression, yeah, it makes sense. But is it the best thing for the team this season? Because that's what's more important this season.
But if I just said that the ceiling raises if we get minutes to it, wouldn't that be the best? If you can go into the playoffs and be like, man, this 5-man lineup is a juggernaut. How do you score against Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter, and Peyton Watson? That's a 3-man defensive lineup flanking. There might be a reason to really invest in this, not just stagger minutes here and there, but say, nope, we need to invest 1,000 minutes.
Yeah, I think a lot of this stuff just reveals itself to you through camps and being together. There's a lot of like unspoken chemistry with the other players. Like, who do the guys trust? Who do they swing the ball to? Like, do you want a guy that could potentially be demanding more of a role in Peyton Watson than Christian Braun, who seems like more content to be part of the mix? I mean, I'm not saying like Peyton Watson is somebody that's like clapping and asking for the ball. It's just like his style of play seems a little bit more. I don't know. Like
Christian's easy to hide in the corner.
Like it just seems like you have to really facilitate the growth of Peyton Watson more than you do Christian Braun, who feels like he can grow and just fit in. Yeah. So, I mean, the question is interesting, and I suppose this is why we're talking about it in the offseason, but I would personally be more inclined to, because I looked at KCP, the perfect incarnation of this starting lineup is a guy that like showed up when you needed him to. he wasn't ever like the one that you're like, oh, find KCP. Like, what's KCP up to? Not that Peyton Watson would be that, but it just feels like Christian Braun is sort of built more so in that mold.
Again, I think what a lot of what we're saying, and it was really my own, it's like over the weekends I'm thinking about this, we're just content almost with Christian Braun because it's easy, right? And decision making oftentimes is almost a path of least resistance decision making. Well, he's at that spot, so we should do this. Well, he's at that spot, so we should do that. But the truth is that the Nuggets are at an impasse right now where you have to kind of, what are they? We're unsure of what they actually are. And so maybe your mind has to be a little more open to their best version might be this enormous. I mean, you're talking about Peyton Watson. You saw the pictures of him standing next to Michael Porter. They look the same height. Michael Porter is a little bit taller, but you talk about 6'9", 7 foot plus wingspan on Watson, 6'10", 7 foot plus wingspan on Michael Porter, 6'9", 7 foot wingspan on Aaron Gordon. You're starting to talk about a very modern day. You go up against the Celtics. What do you need? Perimeter containment and help side across the board. That's your best version of that. So there's something there. And now we go to the offensive part of this, which is the real interesting one. Because I agree, it simplifies things. And if you're Michael Malone, maybe you want simple. Christian Braun's just not involved, so it's easy. Put him in the corner. Peyton Watson maybe is. But offensively, that might be a good thing, especially if you talk about the next steps for Denver. It's easier to start to build around Denver if they have another multi-tool, not one-dimensional player. Christian Braun, these guys are very high-level one-dimensional players. But if Peyton Watson can develop an off-the-dribble game, a little pick-and-roll chemistry, a little cut chemistry, and some additional playmaking as a passer, if you can develop that over the course of the season, that actually really sets you up nicely for the next version of this Nuggets team.
Totally. I agree with that. But I also come back to just the shooting aspect. Like, Christian Braun isn't an elite shooter or even maybe like a great shooter, but he's definitely a better shooter than Peyton Watson. And I just feel like you need somewhat reliable shooting in that spot.
Yeah.
And I think Christian Braun has the ability to become that guy this year. I trust it a little less with Peyton. And I feel like that lineup, could be a little hamstrung offensively if it's, P-Watt in the corner and defenses are sagging off of him even more than they would be if it was Christian Braun.
Right. And just like to hit on this again, like Peyton Watson's not a great perimeter defender. He's just, he gets blown by way more than you would expect, and he's a good.
I think he gets blown by, but that's different than saying he's not a good. He's not as good as Christian at keeping the guy in front of him, but it's still the overall impact is kind of the same.
Well, but I would say that that's like a big part of it, and not saying. And I mean, we're talking about like I think two guys that present to you like a relatively similar upside with margins here or there, and I just. The way that the Nuggets went out specifically was breakdown of perimeter defense. It was Anthony Edwards just rocking whoever was up on him, Jamal or KCP, and like that was the true failing of the Denver Nuggets last year. I don't know that like Peyton Watson is a plug and play fix.
Here's what I hope. Last year, I said Christian Braun, I can't remember what the number was, but it was like under 30 minutes that he had played with the starting lineup. I hope that is not the case this year. Whoever starts, I really think Denver needs to have a sort of rotating starting lineup, and they need to have rotations where it's like, hey, tonight we just played Peyton a lot in that spot, in part because we wanted to get a read on what he looks like there, and in part to develop chemistry with Jokic and with Jamal, because in a playoffs, it might come down to needing those guys. I think part of why last year Michael Malone did not make the switch in the series against the Timberwolves of going to Christian Braun against Anthony Edwards was in part because they didn't play him in that spot. They only played KCP of the starters. And I think throughout the course of the year, you want to be able to go into a playoffs and say, oh yeah, we've played 400 minutes with that combo, so we know what it looks like, and it's not a risk. I think the same thing is going to be true of Peyton Watson, that I hope he gets opportunities to play in these different roles and to get heavy minutes. Because when I look at it, I'm with you guys. The floor is lower, but the ceiling is higher. But that ceiling is so important. And if it hits where he just plays well in that spot, it changes how I think about the Nuggets this year.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm with you with that.
I am too, but I think also... it's like you don't have to truly
Can the
plant
Nuggets
your
take
flag.
that risk, though?
But you don't have to truly plant your flag. Like these guys can show you how much they've improved.
Yeah.
It should be
over the course of the season, you're saying.
And just over the course of this off season and coming into camp and like all of that stuff. if you see a meaningful jump from either one of those players, like that decision makes itself for you.
Peyton Watson to me is probably number one on the if they were to make a leap this offseason. Like if this year's the year that's like, oh my God, Peyton Watson looks 10 times better. No other player would excite me more than that.
Did you bring this up because of the photo of them at the Broncos game?
Well, I brought the photo up earlier.
Oh.
Yeah, where they look like they're the same height?
No, this is another one where they're on the Jumbotron. I sent it to Alyssa. You can see it right here. Michael Porter Jr., Nuggets forward. Peyton Watson, Nuggets guard.
Ooh.
Whoa. News drop.
Wow.
This got a lot of people talking.
Conspiracy Corner. Do you think that this was like they called Michael Malone and was like, hey, how do you want us to...
That's
what position is
He's like,
Peyton
actually, we're going to play him at shooting guard, so put it at guard.
Yeah. I think that they listed them. The Nuggets' third best player. The Nuggets' eighth best player.
Michael Malone's like, Michael Porter, put trade target, trade asset.
That would be amazing if this is the way they communicated to them. They look up at the jumbo point.
I really wonder how they got that, though. 'Cause, I mean, you ask, 10 Nuggets fans. Peyton Watson isn't a guard.
It also could have been that it's like a football guy. And he's like, is it a tackle or is it what is it here? Is he a defensive end? No, he's a what? Last thing here. You talk about the offense. Torrey Craig played shooting guard for the Nuggets.
Yep.
Who's a better offensive player, Torrey Craig or Peyton Watson?
I don't know.
He kind of played the three.
He played both. He would fill in on both spots.
Do you have a definitive answer? I don't feel like I know the answer to that question.
I think at this very moment, very comparable. My point was they survived that. But if you told me catching a dribble handoff and they have to make a one dribble and then decision, I'll take Peyton Watson over Torrey Craig. He was horrible at that.
I mean, if you need a layup to be made, maybe you don't look to Torrey Craig.
All right, I just want to get reps with P-Watt. And the 2 is not somewhere where I've really envisioned him, but if that's where he has to get reps.
It's where the Broncos envision him.
That's where the Broncos envision him, man. Let's take a break. On the other side, what if Julian Strawther starts? Real curveball.
My God, he wasn't at the game, was he?
He was not at the game.
It's like Nuggets center, Julian Strawther. Bet365 is never ordinary. I'm sure all you guys got your Broncos bets in this weekend.
Never betting on the Broncos again.
Quite a turn for you.
Losing money on the Broncos is actually exquisitely ordinary.
Yeah.
That's why I don't. That's
so
why you don't use
ordinary.
Bet365 for that.
Dude,
So
in the post game,
ordinary.
because I did the Broncos post game show yesterday, somebody said they nailed the score, and I was like, "Who bet 13-6?"
Well,
That actually seems like a popular Broncos score for this year.
Can you imagine if you hopped on the Nuggets opener and you're like, "I'm going to predict the score 79-84."
Dude, the Broncos scored 10 points last week with 2 safeties and a field goal.
Hey, they play close games. You can choose between 2 offers at Bet365 when you use the code DNVR365. The bet and get offer, place a bet of $5 or more, get $200 in bonus bets. The first bet safety net offer, place a bet up to $1,000. If your qualifying bet loses, you get a matched refund in bonus bets. Must be 21 plus, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
If you are looking to upgrade your home, one of the easiest things you can do, or one of the best things you can do, is upgrade the flooring. Empire Today, you get to shop at home convenience, the right products that you need, quick and professional installation, and price match guarantee. Empire Today is the best place to get new flooring. So, of course, we have copycats, but they can't beat us on quality, service, speed, so they advertise low-quality products that simply won't carry. We won't promise the lowest prices because anyone who does is putting flooring in your home that they wouldn't put in their own. This is a true story, by the way. A lot of people do this. They put the crap stuff, and then he goes in there for 6 months. All of a sudden, you drop 1 glass of milk on it, whole
Can't
thing
do that.
dissolves. Like a thing of Oreos. Empire Today. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive $350 off when they use the promo code DNVR. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/DNVR for details. All right, back here, segment 3. Don't forget to throw us a like. Hit the subscribe button.
Give us a like, dude. What are you, the Broncos? Give us something.
Give us something. We are 1 week away from Media Day. By the way, I think we have some guests lined up for this week that should be great. People starting to come back into town. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Did we land Ryan Blackburn? He was busy.
So you're going to want to stay connected here, obviously. And then next week, next Thursday is Media Day. So this is the final full week of the offseason.
Soak
Can
it
we
up.
get, Jeff, Jeff,
Live
are
it
you
up.
in or out? Come on. Or are you already out? You're already out of the chat.
He's already gone. We didn't go back to the 90s very quickly. What if Julian Strawther starts? Now, I will say this. When we talk about Malone guys and not Malone guys and this and that,
Yeah.
Strawther's a Malone guy. He would love himself some shooting. Like Christian, like Peyton, he's tall, he's long, so you're going to have a long boys lineup, but with a little bit more offensive oomph. This has to be the best offensive option Denver has.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's the only guy out of that trio, the Christian Braun, Peyton Watson, Julian Strawther trio that you can see as an elite shooter. Even though he didn't make a lot of threes last season, he should be a really good shooter this year. He's got the confidence to shoot that thing too. And if you're just trying to replicate the Nuggets offense from last year, Strawther's clearly the best option.
Yeah.
He could plant himself in the corner like KCP did, countless times late in games and fourth quarters when the Nuggets spread it out, run the two-man game, and have MPJ and somebody else in the corner. Strawther can be that guy. So he's an easy plug-and-play option from that respect. The question is just is he good enough to take on that many minutes, I feel like? Christian Braun, I feel confident. He's been in the system for 2 years. He's steady. I feel confident in just giving him starter-level minutes. I don't know if I'm there with Strawther.
Yeah, I mean, he really hasn't had an opportunity to show us exactly who he is. He got injured. He had spot starts, minutes, whatever. He shined in Summer League. Does that matter? We don't know. But I want to see – you know what I want to see?
What?
I want to see Julian Strawther come in to Denver with a new – killer hair, a killer guy haircut. He's
You're
shedding
right.
his
A
youth.
guy with a lot of hair can mix it up. There's some things he can do.
Either he pulls it. He just I want him to have an all business kind of look.
Yeah.
He's got a little. He's a little too fun. He's got a Hawaiian Punch kind of look to him. You know what I mean?
He has a Hawaiian punch to him.
Yeah. Bring up
Surfer.
Hawaiian
look.
punch doesn't it have a hat?
Yeah, it's a straw hat, but it looks. But it still looks like the general shape. I want an all business Strawther. Him just come in, just be a killer because
You're the Yankees.
yeah, dude, shave the facial hair. What is this? We have a long, proud tradition. No, I like those little things where guys have suddenly they start dressing different. The Nikola Jokic, for example, shows up, starts wearing suits. What happens?
Yeah.
I want Julian Strawther to come in and not be the fun, quirky, plucky rookie to just be I'm the guy. I'm going to make this happen. So I'm sure he's watching. Julian Strawther, that's the one thing outside of practicing shooting.
Well, he has the thing with his hair, and I remember you were on this with Alfred Payton back in the day.
Yeah, I was.
Where it could get in his line of sight.
Alfred Payton, it turned out there were a lot deeper issues in there, so I don't really want to go into that.
But there was actually a play where he was shooting it and the ball hit his hair.
Which was I think we all agree not the move. All the same, I'm ready for it.
Your core four guys are likely going to play somewhere around 1,200 minutes. I think that whoever starts will probably eat up about half of those, whoever the main starter is. But I hope that all three, Peyton Watson, Christian Braun, and Julian Strawther, get real reps there. In large part just because I think Denver's going to come into a series in the playoffs where they need somebody different in that spot. And if you need offense, I do think Julian is going to be a guy that fits in there. And by the way, the nice thing about all of these guys is you get two different types of defense between CB and Peyton Watson, and you get offense from Strawther. But the opposite, so Strawther's defense, I don't think is atrocious, and CB and P. Watt's offense is not atrocious.
No.
So there's reason to believe that those guys can grow into a role there, including Strawther. So for me, I absolutely want to see him get real reps with at least Murray and Jokic, if not Murray, Jokic, and Gordon. Michael Porter's the one guy you could maybe swap for somebody else.
Yeah.
Because he's a floor spacer. But the big three, for sure.
If the grand design and vision of this Nuggets team under this new, apron system that we're all up against is ever going to come to fruition and actually be what they want it to, one of those three guys has to become an elite player. Christian Braun, Peyton Watson, Julian Strawther absolutely have to hit the level where you're no longer asking why they're not making big free agent acquisitions, why they're being cheap, this, that, or the other. If one of those guys turns into a player that is the same as bringing in a top flight free agent, then, Calvin Booth looks like a genius. Like, he's figured out the way to navigate this league. If none of them work out, like, Calvin Booth will probably be run out of town. Like, that he will not beat the wasting Nikola Jokic's prime allegations. So, I mean, like, and I think if I was a betting man on Bet365 Never Ordinary, I would probably, I actually like the skill set of Julian Strawther the best of all those three. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but
I probably like it the second best.
I think he's got the highest ceiling as far as one particular skill set in his shooting.
I mean, definitely with that. If you're talking about elite offensive skills,
yes,
you can see the vision with him.
Yes,
this is a crazy number. Sometimes I find numbers when I'm just like right now, just randomly digging. I find
69?
this one. Yeah,
nice.
So it's 420.
Hey, yeah.
If you put out lineups, 4-person lineups, where 3 of the 4 are Jokic, Murray, and Aaron Gordon. Number 1 alongside them was Michael Porter, 1,070 minutes. Makes
Seems
sense.
right.
Number 2 alongside them was KCP, 1,008 minutes. So
Seems
those
right.
guys make the 5-man lineup. Who would you guess is the third most commonly used fourth wheel to that big 3? Not including Michael Porter. It's the AG Jokic from last season.
Oh, Holiday.
Justin Holiday.
Yeah.
Justin Holiday. Again, this is part of why, I get frustrated. As much as Zeke and some of these guys look terrible, I just look into the numbers sometimes and go, wait, he never played with the good players? Right. And then I look at numbers like this and I go, Justin Holiday played the 3rd most minutes ever with anybody at the good players?
Well, now I know why Justin Holiday had a career renaissance last year.
Why he had a career year, and sometimes it's as simple as this, man.
Yeah.
That is a wild stat to me that he is the 3rd most alongside the Nuggets.
Well, I
big
think
3.
that might bode well for Julian Strawther because I could see him playing the Justin Holiday role this year.
And I could totally see his numbers being very good.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, he's awesome. Off numbers are incredible.
Yeah. I mean, who needs to be 3rd on that list? Well, we know Christian's going to be maybe in that KCP range.
And Michael Porter. So it's always going to be Michael Porter and then...
So would you rather it be Strawther or Peyton Watson ranking next?
To me personally, I think Peyton Watson. No question about it. Because, again, he represents a ceiling to me that I think Denver's going to have to tap into. I just think there's going to be a series. And it might be, by the way, our biggest enemies. Might be Phoenix. It might be the Lakers, where it's like they just need to have Peyton out there.
Dude, now that we're the 100, everyone's our biggest enemy.
Yeah.
It might be that it's like, hey, we Beal, Booker, and Kevin Durant. We just need all 3 of our best defenders on the court against those guys, and I hope we get it. Any final thoughts on this one? Oh, I guess I should ask, what if it's Russell Westbrook? I mean, we shouldn't rule it out.
That's not viable though. I mean, that would be great for this season.
Why not?
I mean, just as far as the trajectory of the team as a whole, I don't know. Do you think how many years do you think he has left? Or do you think that he's a guy?
Oh, long term?
Yeah, I'm just saying. If we are looking at this in the larger scope of things, of making sure that we get the most out of Jokic, and this team is not only competing this year, but is set up to compete and win in the coming years, and you're relying heavily on a Russell Westbrook, that says, to me, it's okay, this is essentially a stopgap, and that's going to be filled by another ring chaser guy every year. If that's the
But it might have to be that way. I mean,
well, but that, to me, that would be bad. That would be a bad sign.
Yeah.
If
it would probably be bad. That would mean Christian Braun is not good.
Yes.
Maybe even Julian Strawther isn't.
But what if it means that Russell Westbrook is just awesome?
Right.
And
It could
playing with
mean-
Jokic, it's like, hey man, this is incredible, and you have an actual star player now alongside.
It could mean that. It could absolutely mean that.
Something he could really help with, specifically with the starters, is playing faster, getting out in transition more,
Yes.
bringing the ball up the court faster, which is a complaint we have sometimes with the starters. Now, look, the starters are great in the half court. That's their bread and butter. But we've all thought injecting some pace into that starting lineup could be good. Russell Westbrook plays fast. He's always trying to push in transition. So that could be helpful.
Yeah.
It would be awesome if just Jokic is just always behind the play now. Russell Westbrook pushes it to a point where it's Jokic never quite he's just only a 3-point shooter because he just is
Conserve his energy.
Yeah.
All right, last one. More likely here, if we go back to Strawther versus Peyton Watson, more likely that Peyton's offense is significantly better than you expect, or Julian's defense is significantly better than you expect. Which one would feel more like an outlier?
You mean, is that asking which is less likely to happen?
Which one's more likely to happen, in your opinion?
Julian.
His defense is just
I feel like they're both likely to happen. I could see
I think
both.
I do too. But
if both happen, then the Nuggets are in great spot.
Well, not likely, but I could see both happening.
I feel more strongly about the physical tools that Julian Strawther has, just in that he does have a wide, arm reach, and he has the ability. Like, I can see him becoming like a stout defender in that he can be a guy that stays in front of people, and that seems more likely and like just more effort based than becoming a offensive weapon, which is like extremely difficult.
Yeah.
And it's not that Peyton Watson isn't there necessarily, but he has a big level to jump up, and that people do it, but you can't assume that.
Yeah. All right. Well, let us know in the chat. Also, let us know in the comments below, because I am very curious what everybody else is feeling like here. And is it wild that Peyton Watson would be the guy that just earns this outright, and it's like, hey, he's the best, one of the 5 best players? Let us know in the comments. Let's take a break. On the other side, we're going to wrap up a couple mailbag questions that we didn't get to on Friday.
Breckenridge Brewery. Check out Breck Brew's new West Coast style IPA, the Ridge Runner.
Man.
Double
Had a
dry
few this
hot
weekend.
brew inspired by the untamed beauty of Colorado's trails, and creates notes of bright citrus and pine. A Breck Brew, the official craft beer of DNVR. They've got a beer for any occasion. There's no better way to watch Nuggets game, Broncos game, and Avs game than having some Breck Brew right next to you. They've been doing it for 33 years. All comes down to their love and passion for making good beer made with 100% renewable energy. They've got tons of great options. Of course, make sure to check out the West Coast style IPA, but they've also got the Avalanche Amber, Mile High City, the Broncos Country Pale Ale. They got hard seltzers too, if that's your thing. You can check out their beer locator, breckbrew.com. You can go to their farmhouse where they have great food and just great vibes. It's a great place to spend the afternoon with the family out in Littleton. So check it out. Breckbrew.com. You can find their beer locator right there.
Also, want to remind you guys that the DNVR Nuggets crew is going to be hooping it up here in 2 weeks.
Oh, shit, I forgot.
I know. I got to start stretching, man.
Yeah, a friend of the show, Ray, king of the chat, Ray.
That's
at
right.
The tailgate asked Mitch and I if we wanted to form a team, and I said no.
He was trying to recruit you away from us.
Oh, I'm not playing. I'm like, dude. Like, tell me if this story sounds crazy if you were to hear it. 46-year-old man plays pickup basketball, tears knee to shreds.
Yeah, it does sound like a story.
The most common
You
story
wouldn't be
that's
able
ever
to
been
sit
told.
like that if you had your
Or
leg
I would
in a cast.
have to only sit like this.
Guys, it is coming on the inaugural DNVR 3-on-3 basketball tournament at Basketball Social House on Saturday, October 5th. $50 for team entry, $15 to sign up as a free agent. And there already have been some free agents. You get paired with some people. You make some new friends.
Hopefully Ray gets one of those guys.
Play against some of your favorite DNVR personalities, such as D-Line.
Dude, I'll just heckle you from the court.
And there'll be diehard prizes for top teams, food and beverage specials, links for registration at thednvr.com/events. Should be a lot of fun. All of our events are up there, by the way, tailgates. I had a great time tailgating.
Yeah.
D-Line left me hanging. I thought you were going to be there.
What? I came.
At the very end.
Well, I was going to the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It was gonna be a
listen,
long day in the sun. I got a
like-
lot of sun. I was out in the sun for freaking forever.
I had a really late night the night before. I woke
Yeah.
up. I was
Oh,
like,
okay,
I
yeah.
was gonna come. I can't, but I came.
Yeah, you did
can't,
show up.
You can't lay this evil on me. I was there.
Our tailgates get better every year, man. They really
Sure.
are cool. By the way, I destroyed Dev in beer pong. Absolutely wrecked him.
This is why Adam wanted me there. He wanted witness.
I had to take my own video just so everybody could know.
He took his own video.
I really did, man. We're going to go deep into the mailbag now from the other day. Anthony Egan asks, what will be Malone's trust lineup that he will go to in pressure situations? Not what would you do, but what do you think Malone's will be?
In high
What's
pressure.
his security blanket lineup?
It's not Michael Porter Jr.
So let's go. Well, hold on. Jokic, Gordon, Murray, lock. Stone Cold locks.
Jokic, Gordon, Murray, lock.
You don't think Michael Porter's a lock this
Dude,
year?
it's not off the table that Jamal Murray could get subbed for Russell Westbrook at times.
There's no way. There's no way.
Russ made a shot.
There's no way there will be a single game where they do not ride with Jamal because Russ has it cooking.
I think Russell could get in there, but it's for CB. I wonder if that might be it.
So you think that's more likely than like a Peyton or a Julian as the security?
Kind of do. Yeah. First off, I think will be the starters most likely. The second most lineup that I feel like we could see at the end of games might be Russell Westbrook with the starters for Christian Braun.
That would be absolutely wild to me. That, for one, in clutch time, makes you a little bit easier to guard unless you have a real good chemistry.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
You just think Malone might go to it.
I could see it, though.
What about no Michael Porter? What about like either Christian or Julian?
That's going to happen.
So you think it's almost more likely that it would be
That's
Porter
We've
out.
already seen that happen. Like, it's going to be either Christian or P. Watt in place of Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. is not even affected by it anymore. Like, this happens a lot where it's like there's some sort of defensive.
It happens. I feel like it happens less than we think, though.
But it
Yeah.
does.
It does happen occasionally.
It does
but
happen. Like
pretty rarely nowadays.
But this, you're talking about at that point replacing him with like a rookie or a first year player. If we're talking about these guys actually in an elevated role, like to me, it doesn't seem that crazy.
Let us know in the comments what you think. Mitch asked, the convo was made earlier this week, so I ask, what does Jokic have to do to pass Hakeem and Shaq on the all-time centers list?
gotta
Or
win
has
another
he
one.
already passed them and heading towards Bill, Wilt, and Kareem?
He has to win another championship.
So I think people have Hakeem and Shaq sometimes together, sometimes wildly separate, and Shaq is way ahead. Here's my thing with Hakeem. He won 2 titles. Hakeem was also on bad teams for a really long time, as Jokic was. When we go back and look at it, Jokic wasn't ready to compete, but his first 4 or 5 years, the team wasn't ready to compete either alongside him. I think one more, and you're going to have people that seriously put him in Hakeem's. I don't think it's like you have to pass Hakeem. For Shaq, I do. I think for Shaq, you're going to have to like match the titles. But for Hakeem, I honestly think Jokic gets another one, man. Interesting conversations start to happen.
This
Yeah,
is why.
he needs another.
This is why Harrison wins commitment to, and we appreciate it. I appreciate it. Giving importance to the MVP race is meaningful because now this is how the tallies start to get counted. Like who is in the legacy, who is better than who, which is, really basketball's the only sport that does this, and they do it ad nauseum, nonstop. Like they can't stop ranking their players. Meanwhile, like if someone was like, "Who's the best quarterback?" Everyone would be like, "Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's Joe Montana." Or okay. But there's not like an entire debate like if you tell me
You don't know
So
anything
true.
about football.
dude, it's so obnoxious.
Do you know what's funny about this, though, is Hakeem has 2, Kevin Durant has 2, and I'm like, Jokic's already better than Kevin Durant.
Oh,
But
easily.
Hakeem, come on, we got to be fair.
I know.
Yeah.
I guess Hakeem, if
Just
he would have played with
nonstop
the
ranking.
73 win Warriors.
Non-stop ranking.
I mean, because you still have the, bullshit detractors that will poke some holes in, Jokic's resume because of just some circumstances throughout the championship run. I mean,
Or
you can disregard all of it, but
his birthplace.
Big one.
careful.
Oh,
Careful.
sorry.
But, 2 championships is ironclad. Like, that's an ironclad case for top, 15.
Krambopoulos asks, what are the odds Jokic and Westbrook have an iconic play or moment, and if so, what would the scenario be?
Oh, it's
Probably pretty good.
it's a clear Russell Westbrook gives Jokic an alley-oop.
No,
That would be incredible.
it would be incredible.
Or no, it's Jokic throws it the entire length of the court. Russell Westbrook catches it for an alley-oop, or he just absolutely just yams it on somebody.
Yeah. I could see the most Hail Mary passes from Jokic being to Westbrook.
Yes.
I think if Westbrook's going to work with Jokic, I think that's going to be him throwing a lot of nice dimes to Jokic in the pocket pass. I honestly, and I think that could be it. So you're thinking about an alley-oop, probably not, but I could see some dunks. Like Jokic he breaks the defense down so well that Jokic has a wide open lane.
Dude, if Jokic
down.
starts being the recipient of alley-oops like that, nothing more iconic.
Freak
I
of
think the
nature.
more likely thing though is that Jokic gives Westbrook some power dunks. Because Westbrook cuts fast, with momentum, and there's a handful of lobs and just dunk passes that lead to absolute.
Yeah, I could see a sequence that's repeated over and over. We call it the Yoke-Brook, whatever.
Brody and Brate.
Oh yeah, Brady
Brody and
I
the
like
Brate.
it. Brody
Well, I
and
mean,
Brate.
yeah.
All right, there you go. We have any super chats?
DJ Seahawk, no 8-ball Peyton Watson
Yeah.
isn't the starter. Serbian Corner with Miroslav was fun, guys.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Sure was a great episode. What else we got? Damian Lee. Eric, don't run on the field.
Oh, for the Broncos, you can't say that. I said that if the Broncos didn't score on the most recent drive, that I was going to jump onto the field and punch the first player that I encountered. And they didn't score a touchdown.
That would have been good.
But they did get a field goal, so I felt like I didn't have to follow through with it all the way.
Thank God. Thank God for Will Lutz. Exquisite Nugget. Where's Vote? I got a show.
He's in Italy.
To do with him soon. Okay.
He'll probably. I bet if you hit him up, he'd probably take time out of his.
Just constantly keep hitting him up, Cedric.
Day after day.
Just keep hitting him up. Kyle Klitzman, huge fan of DNVR, flew in for the game.
Hell yeah.
And had to check out the studio.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm downstairs having a bloody. Oh, come on up.
Yeah, come on up.
Cheers. Ordered the gold. Yeah, come on up, Kyle.
Ordered the goaltenders. All right, there you go. Some chicken tendies. That does it for our Monday show. Like I said, last week of the off season, we should have some guests coming through this week. Knock on wood. Should be a good one. So stay locked. Hit that like button for us. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.